your financial situation better than your student does. And maybe your student's there with you through that. I applaud that, but it's fine. You can take on that part of the process. There are lots of things, lots of ways to support your student through this process, but you cannot be the crutch for them through this process, or they will never learn to manage this kind of thing on their own. And you end up handicapping them.
Yeah. And hi, Hillary.
Hey, Mark.
Back for another episode of Grinding My Gears. And we're talking about something that grinds both of our gears that can happen, student and parents. And the reason we're doing this is so that you can eschew and avoid these things yourself. You can be confident if we don't like this. I'm coming from the counseling side. Hillary's coming from the admission side. I've been on the admission side before. Then it doesn't land well. Okay. And so the one we're talking about today is parents who feel they need to be in every single counseling meeting. And then I simply said, take the training wheels off the bike, take the crutches off, and let somebody walk on their own. So what was it that resonated with you on this one, Hillary? And what does this look like in your admissions world?
Yeah. Okay. So this is going to be a very specific story, Mark. The part that resonated with me was the crutches part. So I have a daughter who has a chronic pain condition. And when she first developed the condition, she was on crutches because it was in her knee and she couldn't use her right leg at all. And there was an interaction we had with a doctor who literally said, you need to throw your crutches away tonight or you will never be able to use your leg again. Because you're leaning on them. Yes, it was a whoa moment for all of us because you're leaning on them too much and you're never going to get use of your leg back. And to her credit, we got home and she took her crutches and she literally opened the big trash can in the side yard and threw her crutches into the trash can. It was like, I guess this is what I'm doing. And you know what? This week she climbed Machu Picchu. She was, that was in 2017. She was 11. I think 10 or 11. And she climbed Machu Picchu. She just finished a second trek in Peru where she was at 16,000 feet. And they actually had to come back a day early because the two boys she was with, one of them was sick and had a fever and the other one was injured. And she's like, can you believe, Mom, that I am the one who's healthy here? There's nothing wrong with me. I've made it through this trek. And I just think about that as sort of a metaphor for how we have to let our kids do their own thing. They can't lean on us all the time. We can't be there all the time to be the ones who are guiding them. And this process of applying to college can be such a rich learning process for our students. And you as an independent counselor and me as college admission officer are soft places for students to land. And we will prompt students to get them to ask the right questions and to be part of the conversation and to do the work that they need to do. And it's better if we're the ones working with your student doing that. Now, when it comes to figuring out financial aid, yes, you can call the financial aid office. You should be working with them because you know your financial situation better than your student does. And maybe your student's there with you through that. I applaud that, but it's fine. You can take on that part of the process. There are lots of things, lots of ways to support your student through this process, but you cannot be the crutch for them through this process or they will never learn to manage this kind of thing on their own. And you end up handicapping them.
Yeah. And nobody questions intentions. I mean, people mean well. They love their kid. They're afraid. They're scared. They don't want to see them miss out on an opportunity. I'm not questioning the motives of parents. Parents most of the time are just very well intentioned. They love their kid. They want what's best for their kid. And they're afraid their kid is going to make a mistake that's going to be very costly. And so they just don't want that to happen. They value college. They value it a lot. And they don't want to see a major mistake. And during COVID, there was a lot more parent involvement in students' lives. And some people have, just never gotten over their level of involvement from that even. So I don't question that. But the most important skill to really excel in college is self-advocacy. And if you don't build that muscle, you're not going to have strength in that muscle to use it. And I've literally seen myself ask a student a question in the counseling room, and then the student just feels the need to look at the parent for guidance on how to answer it. I've seen parents that were so involved at feeling they need to be at everything that when their student went off to college, they were literally flying there all the time to go get hotels to fix the problems. And Christina Lopez, who our newest member on our co-host team, has recently shared some of the things at Barnard that, parents calling in to say their kid's not going to be coming in for their job and calling in to check to see, if everything's turned in from the file. Like, this is the student's job. This is the student's responsibility. The student is the one coming to college. And so the student's going to need to have that self-advocacy skill, and that comes from practice. And there's a lot of really good books out there on this topic, but one of them is How to Raise a Successful Adult by Julia Litkoff-Hames, who was a dean at Stanford and encountered people that just did not know what to do because their parents had done everything for them, and how it curtailed their independence and hurt their transition to college. So this is not about us just having our own sort of idiosyncrasies and predilections. Like, this is about us wanting your student to be successful.
Yeah. Well, you don't want to be the parent who is sitting in on like the advising sessions with your student, or who's accompanying your student to the career center. You don't want to be that parent, and you don't want your student to have to be that student. So this is where you start training them now in the admission process.
Yeah. No, exactly. And also, I'm just saying, the counseling side, like, I do welcome parents to join counseling sessions. I don't like the parent that's never there, but I'm speaking to the person that feels they need to be there at all times. Like, some combination of the parent there sometime and the student there sometime on their own, like, that's a good balance. And every counselor's going to be a little different with where they draw that. I tend to be a little more comfortable with parents there than some counselors are, but it's the parent that feels they always have to be there all the time. And I will talk to a parent when it crosses the line. I have to do that 2 to 3 times a year. And most of them, receive it well. I can think of one who didn't this last year. I had to do it 3 times this year. 2 of them received it well. One didn't. But just know that it's hard to transition to college if the student hasn't been making any of their own decisions independently. There's enough challenges already with, like, living with someone with completely different habits from you, and maybe being in another part of the country, and maybe having to handle college level independence without the structure of a high school schedule. And maybe you're in a class that's really hard, and, all kinds of other things involved in the transition. Like, there is enough in of itself to navigate, but not being used to making your own decisions, being proactive, taking some of the initiative when change needs to occur. Like, you don't want to add all that onto your plate with all the other transitions going on. So this is just a tip to help your student to be more successful when they go to college. Yeah. Anything else on this one, Heather? Or do you think we wrapped it up?
I think we nailed it.
We're only trying to help. We're only trying to help, listeners. Hey, listeners, if you like this kind of content, you can click the bell notification, and as soon as we drop a new video, you'll get it directly right in your box. You can also subscribe to our channel. YouTube's algorithm will shoot this kind of content out to other people with similar interests to you. Our mission is to make college knowledge available to all. We're trying to get out to as many people as we can. If you want to help us in this process, we welcome partnering with you, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video. And if you have any other videos that you'd be interested in us commenting on, we've got a team of about 12 co-hosts from all over the country. Some are senior level positions in admission, some are in mid-level positions, some are on the counseling side, and we're excited to be on YouTube, and we just want to meet your needs. So thanks for tuning in. We'll see you in the next one.
See ya.